Hello, hello. How is everybody? We have a little gremlin talk tonight. Just a little something that I would like to share with everybody. I give everybody some time to come in. Can y'all hear me? I slept all day, but I'm tired. Good job. I think I made it freeze. Okay. Hello, everybody. Athena, Amber. How's everybody's Wednesday? I didn't do nothing today. I didn't do nothing. That's such a double negative. I didn't do anything today. And that's okay. I go back to work tomorrow. So then it'll be 7 days straight of doing something. So I'll take one day. So tonight, I want to talk about being a life jacket and not an anchor. We're going to really deep dive tonight. I want to start off with reading something that a friend of mine, Foraging Thought, he's in the chat. Hey, Corso. He sent me, and I want y'all to really listen to this, okay? So it says, be a life jacket. We are all treading water in an ocean of unknown fate. The water is filled with both triumph and tragedy that never seem to end, and it's difficult to fight the waves. Those who aren't strong enough or those who give up will slip below the surface. Worse yet, there are some who will struggle so hard they'll pull you under with them, trying to save themselves, becoming your anchor. There are even some who selfishly will use you to stay afloat on purpose if you let them. But within the drowning masses, some find the inner strength to brave the waves and even pull themselves out of the water. Once you find that inner strength, and once you're out of those waters, check it out. That means you're in the perfect place to teach others how to swim. The day we stop trying to improve ourselves and the world around us is the day we become apathetic to those who are drowning and become an anchor. When you can, once you're strong enough to recognize how to step out of the water, only then can you truly start cutting ropes to free others of the anchors that would drag them under. The best place to save a drowning person is while your 2 feet are on dry land. So that right there is what we're going to talk about tonight. Life is one big ocean. Some days the waves are calm, and some days they come crashing down so hard you feel like you'll never come up for air. And then there are the people, the ones swimming, the ones sinking, and the ones using others to stay afloat. And I'm going to just sidebar real quick, but years ago I got a tattoo on my left shoulder of a wave and the sun, and it only solidifies the meaning even more now. And I didn't know it, right? Because to me it was surviving all the waves that life threw at me, right? Kind of just riding the wave and getting to the next point. But I've gotten to a point where I have been taught how to swim, and I have people who have helped me get my 2 feet on solid ground so that now I can teach others. And And I do feel the pull sometimes of other people pulling me back in, and I have to take a step back and kind of just recollect myself and make sure that I'm grounded first before I can handle what other people are trying to throw at me. So tonight, the real question is, are you a life jacket or are you an anchor? Are you lifting people up or are you letting them pull you under? And more importantly, how do you save others without drowning yourself in the process? So right now, I would like y'all to drop a wave emoji in the chat if you've ever felt like you're barely keeping your head above water. And if you've ever felt like someone was dragging you under, drop an anchor. We're about to talk about when to help, when to let go, and when to save yourself first. It kind of goes with like whenever you go on a plane and they tell you that if the face mask drops, put yours on first, then assist the person next to you. You can't, I say this over multiple times, you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't help somebody if you haven't helped yourself first, right? So let's be real. Life's hard. We know that. We're all in this massive ocean. Oh, did I already read that part? Yeah. Did I put it in here twice? I don't know what I did. No. Okay. We're all in this massive ocean of unknown fate, just like Forging Thought said. In this ocean, it's full of everything. Good days, bad days, wins, losses, heartbreak, healing, all of it, right? Some people are out here swimming like Olympians. Some are just barely treading water. And some gave up a long time ago and they're just sinking. So how many of y'all have been in that place where you felt like you were just barely keeping your head above water? And what helped you swim instead of sink? I'm going to check out the chat here real quick. See who I missed. Hey, Megs. I'm ready for bed too. My bedtime will be coming up here shortly. Oh, Linz, thank you. So what I found is and I have multiple notes of content preparation, I guess, made up. But it's kind of whatever gets put on my heart at the time. Forging sent this to me at the perfect time when I needed it last week. And I realized that I have been taught how to swim, and I have I have certain people in my corner that I can always go to whenever I feel like I'm getting pulled back into the water, and they can bring me back up, and they give me that push, they give me what I need, they keep me going to keep my head above water, to get back on land so that I can continue to help others, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. So the next thing that I want to talk about here is who you save and who you let go. Here's where it gets real. Some people will fight so hard to stay afloat that they'll pull you under with them. Not on purpose, not because they mean to hurt you, but because when you're drowning, you're desperate, right? And then there are some people, they know exactly what they're doing. They see you floating, they see you getting stronger, and instead of learning to swim, they latch right onto you like dead weight. They expect you to do all the work for them. They want to stay afloat, but they don't want to put in the effort, right? And that's the difference. And my note is all messed up here. Hold on. Let me see if I can figure it out. Well, I can't see that part. I don't know why I did that. Hold on. I didn't double check my notes. Whoops. Now they're watching me figure this out in real time. So some people just need guidance and they'll learn how to swim. Some people refuse to help themselves and they'll drag you under if you let them. But you got to know the difference, because if you keep trying to save people who refuse to save themselves, you'll drown too. If people don't want the help, it's pointless. And at the end of the day, you're expending your energy and they're not even grateful for it, right? Um, so, has there ever been someone in your life that you tried so hard to help, but it felt like they're just pulling you under instead? And how did you handle it? Me personally, I go through this. It's like a cycle in my life. Um, Lobster. What does lobster have to do with anything right now? Lobster? Where's Amber? Amber, can you say lobster for us? Because I can't do it with that accent. It doesn't come out as lobster. Um, but for me, I tend to be the one that wants to help everybody, and it's a constant like push pull in my life, and it gets to the point where I have to quit. And not that I'm a quitter, right? Um, but you can only try and help so much before you have to stop because it's costing you more of your time and energy than it's benefiting you, right? Um, and that's whenever I do the whole step back thing. Um, yeah, you got me to laugh. And that's whenever I find myself withdrawing, right? Um, it's so hard to hurt people when they're down on themselves. That's my problem. You don't have to hurt them. Um, you protecting your peace shouldn't hurt somebody else. And if they take it that way, that is a them problem, not a you problem, right? Um, One of my favorite things that I'll say is I can only control my actions and my reactions. I'm not responsible for how somebody else reacts. I'm not trying to hurt somebody. I mean, yes, in my life I have purposely tried to, right? But it never works out for me. I get the backlash on that. Karma's a bitch. Um, and I've learned that trying to hurt somebody it gets me nowhere. Um, but trying to lift somebody up when they're down and they don't really want that, they just want you to sit in their little puddle with them and throw a little fit. I'm not about that. I'll sit there for a little while and we can wallow in the puddle for a little while and you can feel your feelings because your feelings are valid. But what are we going to do to get out of this puddle now, right? What are we going to do to not sit in it? And it's the people that don't want to get out of it that you can't help. You can't. They want to be in that puddle, and I'm not going to sit there with them. I'm not. That's where I'm at. I'm not going to sit there. So the next thing I have is the moment that you learn to swim. There's a shift that happens when you stop fighting to survive and start swimming on your own. That's when you realize, holy shit, I don't have to just struggle to keep my head above water. I can actually move forward. That's the moment when you stop just existing and you start growing. And once you're there, once you're standing on that dry land, that's when you can actually help people in a real way. And I know that people have recently said that Griselda has changed and that I've turned my back on people and that I'm two-faced and I'm a snake and this and that and the third, but that's not it. That's not it at all. All those people that are saying that don't know me because what happened is there was a shift in my life. And I had like this light bulb moment and I was like, whoa, I can't do this anymore. And I actively changed my actions. The ones that are going to say all those negative things are the ones that don't like to see you grow, the ones that don't like to see you change. Those are the ones that are going to continue to be your anchor, right? They're going to try to continue to pull you down. And those are the people that I can't keep in my life anyways. Those are the people that I don't want in my circle. And that's okay. Normally I like a clean cut, but sometimes it's a dirty breakup, you know? Friendship breakups are no different than a relationship. And I'm at a point where I realize that, and I mean, I've realized this for a while now, but I can pick my own family, right? I can pick my own family. I can pick my own friends. I can choose who I'm going to be associated with and the people who I want around me. And like Athena said, I want to surround myself with people who want to see me succeed, not the ones that are going to tell me I can't do it if I don't do it this way, or because that's the last thing. One thing about me is if you tell me that I can't do something, I'll be damned. I'm going to prove you wrong. I will. I will do my damnedest at succeeding at what you told me I couldn't do. And I mean, I've been that way since I was a child. And not in a defiant way, like, don't touch the hot stove, right? But in a like, oh, you're not gonna succeed in that, or you're not gonna like, I will work my ass off to make sure that I do it. I will. Um, okay, so I keep getting sidetracked. You can't save someone while you're still drowning. You can try, but you'll both go under, right? You can only save someone when your feet are planted, when you've built the strength to pull someone up instead of being pulled down. So the real question here is, are you standing on solid ground yet? And it's okay if you're not, because that's what we have a group of people here for. We can all learn to swim together, and we can help each other and learn to be life jackets instead of anchors and pulling those down around us. Think about where you are in life right now. Are you still treading water? Just surviving? Have you learned how to swim? Or are you standing on dry land ready to help others? Forging said, if your empathy for someone is taken advantage of so as to manipulate your relationship, once recognize it's impossible to ignore. That is 100%. Just like Athena said, I've been through that. I'm sure we all have, you know. And God, I'm a very empathetic person. I'm a very emotionally led person. And sometimes I wish I could turn my empathy off, right? But I can't. I can't. I can walk into a room and feel out the room with nobody saying a word. I can sense a situation before it's going to happen. My intuition is really strong and it's weird and I hate it. I don't hate it, but I strongly dislike it sometimes. And empathy can be learned, but being an empath is different. And I am and have always been an empath, and it is draining. It is draining. And that's whenever I find myself being pulled back into the water, right? Whenever I am affected by other people's emotions, outside things, instead of my own. And that's when I get pulled back in. Yes, a lot of people think they're empathetic and they're not. It's a whole like I think empathy is a trend right now. Does that make sense? I think saying that you're an empath is a trend when real empaths, not to say that we wouldn't wish it on anybody, but that's kind of where I've been lately is I wouldn't wish this on anybody because I feel everything around me instead of my own feelings and their feelings it's like I take them on. It's so weird. Um, you're right. No one can understand and comprehend what empathy is without being an empathetic person. And Sarah's making a good point too. The people who say respectfully and then they say whatever they have to say, but it's to be disrespectful. That's a whole different ball game. Um, and that's just another way of to me it's like a new form of gaslighting. I don't know. But yes, being an empath is exhausting. Um, but I've been taught how to swim, right? I've said, and I don't know if you're in here, Zebby, but I've said that Zebby's the one who really taught me how to swim whenever it came to YouTube. Zebby's who I could go to if I felt like my YouTube world was crashing down around me and I didn't know what to do. He's who I could call. He's who, when I really feel like throwing in the towel, he's the one that sits me down and says like, Griselda, do you really enjoy what you're doing? And I'm like, well, yeah. And he's like, then why would you quit? And I'm like, I don't know, because people are talking. And then, I mean, that's a whole nother thing that I want to bring up one day, but I need to find the poem because I can't find the right one right now. But I have a tattoo that says "Let them," and it was a whole trend, right? But the poem was like, let them walk away, let them lose you, let them, because it's not you, it's them. And in my recent therapy, it's been a lot of um, other people's words weighing on me, right? And realizing that their words are more so a reflection of themselves than me. So let them talk. Let them talk. But my next point, because that really had nothing to do with being a life jacket or an anchor, is to be a life jacket, not an anchor. So, how do you actually help people without getting dragged under? And it's about balance. Save yourself first. And I said this earlier, but I'm going to say it again. You can't pour from an empty cup. The second point is teach, don't carry. Show people how to swim, but don't do the swimming for them, or you'll get dragged down with them. The third point that I have here is recognize who wants to be saved and who doesn't. Some people just want attention, not solutions for their problems. And you can give them a little bit of attention, but it's kind of like a toddler. If you keep negative attention, is still attention, right? And not just a toddler, but children. I'm going to relate it to children, but I mean, it comes down to all people in general. Negative attention is still attention. So they're feeding off of it. They're living for it. They don't want a solution to their problem. They just want you to recognize that they have a problem and continuously recognize that they have a problem. Well, that's not swimming, right? That's sinking. And then 4 is set boundaries. And this one's hard, and this one I'm learning myself. We can have a whole little gremlin talk on learning how to set boundaries if we have to do that, because it's taken me quite some time. But if someone's pulling you under, you're allowed to cut them loose. And it's okay to be selfish. You don't have to sacrifice your peace, your progress, or your mental health to be a good person. Sometimes the best thing you can do for someone is let them figure it out on their own. And that's not being cold, that's reality. I'll have to pull up the email forging. Or was it a comment? No, it was a comment that you had left. When someone asks you, what do you think of your haters? You want to be able to say, I don't. And I'm not to that point yet, right? But I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But it does suck whenever you have to like cut people off. Let them learn from their own experiences because you can't help them anymore. But when you're just starting to be drugged down, you can't drown with them, right? And once I learned how to swim, it was like a big mission to like help others learn. But I'm realizing not everybody wants that, and that's where it hits me. Because I've always wanted to help people. I've always wanted to see the world be a better place than it is today, right? And I know that I'm just one person, but I'm one person speaking to all 19 of you guys in here, and whether you are taking something from it or you're not, that's on you. I'm just doing what I made my little mission to be. If they insist on pushing you away, step aside and let them push themselves all the way gone. The best place you can find yourself is when someone asks, "What do you think of the haters?" And you can answer with confidence, "I don't." That's a big goal for me. And that's because I take words so much to the heart. But I'm learning. I'm learning not to let it bother me. My "I don't give a fuck" button works a little bit better every day, right? It just sucks because I don't want to see other people hurting too at the same time. And I don't want it to ever be because of my actions, so I have to remind myself that it's not my actions, it's their choices. But how do you know when to help someone versus when to walk away? Have you ever had to set boundaries to protect your peace? Well, I just basically told y'all all of mine. Because one of my favorite affirmations lately is if I cut you out of my life, the chances are you handed me the scissors. Because I'm going to do everything in my power not to first. I'm going to do everything that I can to try and teach that person how to swim, to try and help them, to try and be that positive light in their life that they probably need. But at the end of the day, it's not going to cost me my peace anymore. It's not going to cost me my sanity. It's not going to cost me my mental health. I'm not gonna be drugged down anymore. Like, I learned how to swim. I got my feet on land so that I can teach others, not so that I can be drugged back into it. So, my little gremlins, here's what I want you to take away from this. We're all in the same ocean, but we're not all in the same place. Some people are drowning, some are swimming, and some are standing on dry land. You can't save people who don't want to be saved. The best way to help others is to make sure that you are strong enough first. Be a life jacket, not an anchor. Lift people up, but don't let them pull you under. At the end of the day, the ones who want to survive, they'll learn. The ones who don't, you can't drown with them. You've got too much life ahead of you. So, my little gremlins, I would like to see some lifesavers, because they don't have life jacket emojis, in the chat if you're walking away from this tonight knowing that you're going to be a life jacket, not an anchor. And drop a wave if you've been in the struggle but you're working on getting to dry land. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for vibing with me tonight. Make sure that you've liked and subscribed and have your notifications turned on, because we're just getting started with these little gremlin talks. Remember, save yourself first. The ones who want to learn to swim, they'll follow. That one was That one really got me in my feels. I do have another one that I had planned. It doesn't have to be tonight, or it can be tonight. Drop me some black hearts if y'all want the next one. So the next one that I kind of really do want to talk about tonight is there's three sides to every story, and sometimes silence wins. So, black hearts in the chat if y'all want a double gremlin talk tonight. Oh, you're still here, Corso. You was quiet. Sorry, I'm super thirsty. Oh, okay. While I'm waiting for some black hearts in the chat, I just have to say this. I'm going to take it back. Where are my millennials? Because my little black heart and a lobster, thank you for it, my little black heart, my little ratchet baby inside, right, is really excited because I saw Lil Wayne is not going to be at the Super Bowl, right? We already knew he wasn't performing, but he's not going to be there at all, even though New Orleans is his hometown. By the way, Amber, how crazy is New Orleans right now? Oh, Amber might have already left, actually. But Lil Wayne dropped an announcement that, well, he dropped a teaser that he has an announcement tomorrow. And if it's the Carter 6, y'all might not hear from me for like a solid week. Because, like, yeah, I'm just going to have to vibe out to some Lil Wayne for like a solid week. You had to refresh your chat to make it. I have to do that sometimes too. So a bunch of people left. They hopped over to TikTok because there's another one over there. Amber and Jerry Lynn have a talk going on tonight. My little ratchet. This is my little ratchet baby, and you'll be going till November. I hope that he drops it soon though, because I don't know. I've just been really in my Lil Wayne feels lately. But okay, so three sides to every story, and sometimes silence wins. Replay gang can catch this later if they want. But so we're gonna get real, right? And here we get real, we vibe, and we don't sugarcoat a damn thing. So tonight's topic is there's three sides to every story: yours, mine, and the truth. And sometimes the best move is to say nothing at all. Have you ever been in a situation where people straight up ran with a version of the story that wasn't true? And you had to just sit there and decide, do I correct them? Or do I just let them look stupid? Because let's be real, not everyone deserves access to our energy, and sometimes silence is the biggest checkmate. Before we get into it, drop me a skull emoji in the chat if you've ever had someone lie about you and you just had to sit there watching them dig their own fucking grave. And if you actually clapped back and set the record straight, drop me a flame, because we're going to talk about when it's worth speaking up and when it's better to just let people assume, because we know what that does. But we're not going to say it makes the ass out of you and me, because normally it's just you, right? So, why people see things differently. First off, let's talk about why people's quote unquote truth ain't always actually the truth. Everybody sees life through their own filter. Experiences, insecurities, emotions, all of it. Two people can live through the exact same situation and walk away telling two completely different stories. And let's be real. Some people ain't even looking for the truth. They're looking for the version that makes them feel better. They want the version where they're the victim, where they're right, where they get to avoid accountability. So they twist, exaggerate, and sometimes flat out lie. And the best part is they actually believe their own bullshit. Okay? So, tell me if you've ever had someone tell a version of a story that was so far from reality that you had to laugh. Because I know y'all got some good stories. All you have to do is give me a yes. You don't have to tell your whole story if you don't want to. And I can always open up the panel if we want to tell stories later. It's completely up to y'all. My bedtime's not for another hour and a half or so. So when silence is the best response, here's where it gets interesting. Because when you know people are out here lying, the natural instinct is to defend yourself, right? To go out there and say, that's not what happened. Here's the proof. Here's the facts. But here's the thing. Sometimes the best move is to say nothing at all. And I'll tell you why. Defending yourself keeps the drama alive. They want your reaction. They want you to feed into it. Some people don't care about the truth. No matter what you say, they'll believe whatever the fuck they want to believe. I'm so glad I'm past that 10-minute mark. Silence can be louder than words. When you don't engage, you don't give them power. And they look ridiculous talking to themselves. So have y'all ever stayed quiet in a situation where people were talking shit and it ended up playing out in your favor? Like you just let them run their mouths and eventually the truth handled itself? I've been dealing with one of those. Especially the people talking to themselves. Yeah. Narcissists don't like to be ignored, and they will keep on and keep on and keep on. And they'll still keep talking to themselves. I've had to go through that with my parents. I've gone through that multiple times in my life. And it tends to, you're still sick? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Court. Let me see what forging said. If a lie about you is a total fabrication, then by logic's reasoning, it has nothing to do with you or your life. Fabricated happenings you never did can't hurt you because they never happened. But it's people trying to hurt your reputation. But at the end of the day, the people that know me, the people that are really in my corner, they're going to know that that shit ain't the truth anyways. And if they want to believe the bullshit, they want to believe the lies, that's fine. They weren't in my corner to begin with, right? So, the role of time and truth. Here's the thing. Truth has a way of coming out. It always does. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually people expose themselves. And the ones who actually matter, they'll see through the lies. I remind myself all the time, the right people don't need an explanation. And the wrong people won't believe you no matter what. And if someone is so quick to believe the worst about you without even asking for your side, they were never in your corner to begin with, so let them go. Have y'all ever lost friends over a situation where they just believed the first thing that they heard without even coming to you first? And then looking back, you realize that they did you a favor? That kind of goes hand in hand with last week's Trash Talk Tuesday and how I said, like, sometimes the trash takes itself out, right? I've had this happen more often than not where people just believe what they see instead of asking for the full story. If you ever see something about me and you aren't sure about it, ask me for the full story. I'll tell you the full story. I don't give two fucks. I will tell you the full story. I don't care who it may hurt. I will tell the full story. And here's where it comes to social media, gossip, and reputation, right? Because that's where we find ourselves nowadays. So let's talk about the mess that is social media. And I'm sure Foraging will have something to say about social media. I know he did last night whenever we were talking. The internet is the worst place to try and defend yourself. Doesn't matter how much proof you got, people believe what they want to believe. And drama? The internet loves drama. People will lie, twist shit, and stir the pot just to get attention. And when you respond, guess what? You give them exactly what they want. MJ, no, I don't think I'm going to do true crime again. We can talk about that though. I don't have my love and drive for true crime right now, like at all. I haven't been watching any active cases or anything. Like, that's how much I don't care for true crime right now. I loathe it, like, in my worst Grinch voice. Loathe true crime right now. So yeah, you give them what they want whenever you respond. So here's the move. If it doesn't serve you, don't engage. If it drains your energy, let it go. And this one is my favorite. If someone's out here lying, let them look stupid. So how many of y'all have seen people try to win in the court of public opinion and just end up looking worse? Or been in a situation where you realize responding just made it worse? I'm sure most of y'all have heard of the, as I've titled it, the Great Griselda Fallout of 2025, right? People have their opinions of me because of that fallout in Discord, but people don't know the whole story, and people probably never will, and that's okay. But I'm also not going to sit here and try and defend myself against what people are trying to say about me, because it's not going to do me any good. They're still going to believe what they want. So I'm just going to straighten up my little motherfucking crown, wipe whatever little tears, fix my mascara, whatever I got to do, and I'm going to keep on trucking. And I'm not engaging. I'm not trying to defend myself on the internet. Reddit doesn't even pop up in my like suggested apps during the day because I don't go looking, right? Because I'm not, it's nothing to engage with anymore. It doesn't serve me. It just drains me. So I'm not going to do it. I don't know what I did to my notes. They're all jacked up. That's a Gretchen Wilson song. I hate that I do that. Always associate music with something. Okay, so here's our little takeaway. There's 3 sides to every story. Yours, theirs, and the truth. And sometimes you don't need to tell your side. Let people assume. Let them talk. And let them believe whatever helps them sleep at night, right? Because at the end of the day, your truth is your truth. People who matter will know. And those who don't, who cares? That's just wasted energy. If you're constantly feeling the need to defend yourself, ask yourself this. Is it really about proving a point? Or is it about seeking validation from people who don't even deserve... Or is it about seeking validation from people who don't even deserve a seat at your table? Trust me, silence is a power move, and it pisses people off more than anything. So I want to hear y'all's thoughts. Drop us a little black heart in the chat. I always pick the black heart. Drop a black heart in the chat if you're walking away knowing... If you're walking away from... I can't talk. If you're walking away from this knowing that sometimes silence is the best response. And if you've ever had a solution where you let people talk and it all came back to them, drop a flame. You can drop them both. I really appreciate y'all vibing with me tonight. Again, make sure you're subscribed, notifications are on, because the next Gremlin Talk is going to be just as real. Remember, protect your peace. Let them assume. Let them talk. You keep growing. Good night, my little gremlins. Stay wild. Okay, so y'all got 2 little gremlin talks out of me because I was really feeling that second one lately. But I know last time I had said that it would be beneficial if you brought a notebook, right? And I just sit up here and I talk and I don't have anything on the screen. Would y'all benefit from like slides on the screen with some of my points, like if y'all do want to write them down? Because I know I do talk fast. I've listened to myself on 1.5 or 2, and I sound like a little gerbil. So I know that I talk fast. And I'm also not covering up my accent anymore, so that does make things a little harder to understand sometimes. But would y'all like me to start incorporating like my main points on the screen so that they can be screenshot or written down or anything like that? I'm very much like if I write it down, I'll remember it. If I type it out, I'll remember it. I screenshot a whole hell of a lot of things and then write them in a notebook. Like, I don't go anywhere without a notebook, pretty much, because you just never know when that thought's gonna hit, right? Um, so I was thinking about that. So I may start putting together like not like PowerPoint, but kind of like a PowerPoint presentation. That's weird though, because then it brings me back to like I'm making this feel like church. So that's why I'm asking for y'all's opinion. So like yes, visuals. Okay. Okay. So it will be more like church. We're okay with that? Cuz like it's not church. Yeah, I can also put the bullet points on my community posts. I have find people aren't so much engaging on my community tab very as of recently. I like your voice, but yeah, sometimes when it's read to you, it hits you later and people can't reread it. And that's when it's super impact. People can reread it and that's when it's super impactful. Yeah, that's a good one too. So I can do that. I can start putting together some stuff. That way it can be like accessed later. Or like, oh, Grizz said this. Let me go back and see what it was. You don't have to listen to a whole hour-long live to get one certain thing that I'd said or whatever. And another thing, whenever I was making up my scripts for these 2 Little Gremlin Talks, I was tossing around the idea of doing notebooks and or journals. Is that something that anybody might be interested in? I don't know. It's just an idea. I'm a big stationery girl, so I like notebooks, pens. I also like things that like are unique. Like I love the shit out of my Kiosk Club shirt, hoodie, and sticker that I got from Jumpsuit. Because it's unique. You know, nobody that I know around here is going to have that, and it might strike up a conversation or something like that. So I can, once I get, if I get to the point of being monetized, I can do the YouTube shop. And I can think more about merch and stuff like that. I was just wondering if anybody would be interested in like notebooks or journals, something. And I can even like, I can put like certain sayings and stuff in the notebooks or whatnot. It would be a process, of course. It's nothing that I can just like drop a link on tonight. But if that's something that y'all would be interested in, just let me know, because that's been something like an idea that I'm kind of throwing around. I also do still want, um, I do still want to do a shirt or a hoodie, or both, that says I would never for a man with a bedtime, even though I'm not in true crime. Um, it just really still applies. You know, I said it whenever we were covering the Wade Wilson case and the way that he talked to Jesse and the other girls. And I don't know, it stuck with a lot of people. So I still really like that. A Grizzle affirmation daily calendar. Oh my gosh. Stationery, pretty pens and paper. Yes, I love paper, and like, it sounds so cheesy, but like, I could take a trip to Office Depot and be on fucking cloud nine and be completely okay. Like, and that just, and I don't even have to buy anything. I'm just looking at everything. But if I walk out with like a brand new pen or something, oh, that's it. And I'm gonna be so excited for probably like a week about my damn pen. Um, but yeah, I've always look. And my little girl had book fair this week, so it was like pencils, pens, erasers, bookmarks, and they don't do the scholastic ones. That kind of hurts my feelings, but it's still cute. Notebooks. We're a big notebook house here. We have notebooks for everything here. But well, I will keep those ideas in mind, and I hope you guys have a great night. I am gonna go get ready for my work week. I love you guys. Um, just remember to protect your peace and stay wild.